Hello, good morning. Welcome to another TV4Education for admin training sessions. We're going to be going through today the basics of how to get started with TV4Education and a couple of things that you need to do before you get started. My name is Quentin and I'm going to be your host in this morning's session. Now the session is live today. So if you do have any questions, please make sure that you chuck those into the chat console on the on the right of your screen. I'm monitoring those conversations here, so if you do have any questions, throw them up and I'll be able to answer them in the session this morning. YouTube has another really cool facility for us. If you do get interrupted during the session this morning, you can pause the live event. We'll keep going with the rest of the training. You can re-watch what we've spoken about and then catch up with the live event. So make sure that you do pause and play back anything that you missed or something that you need some clarification on. Okay, so let's jump in and let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen with everyone. Excellent. Okay. So before we get started with TV4Education, there's a couple of things that we need to do to make sure that the system's secure so that we don't have Year 7s watching M-rated content, for example. So in order to do that, we need to jump into the system. Now, everyone should have received a welcome letter. That welcome letter will contain a URL, a username, which will be their school email address or your school email address, and a password. Now this goes out to the administrators. So don't be too alarmed that your teachers haven't received one yet. We'll talk about that in a moment. I'm specifically speaking about the administration welcome letter. Okay, the welcome letter, as I said, will contain that URL. So punch that into your browser. Then click on the sign in button in the top right hand corner. This will allow us to then chuck in our email address and our password to log into the system. Okay, now once we're in, we've now got the ability to jump into all of the administration areas of the system. As I said, we want to go in and make sure that the security has been set up appropriately for our system. So where we need to go for that is over here to the top top left-hand corner. Struggling with my directions this morning. Top left-hand corner, we've got this little icon here, which is the system menu icon. So if you ever hear any of our documentation or our customer service technicians going, can you click on system menu? That's what it is. Okay, scroll down to the bottom where we will see configuration. Now within the configuration menu, we want you to click Authority Editor. Authority Editor is what controls all of the authority files throughout the system. The one that we want to deal with first is if we click on the drop down where it currently says audience, we want to deal with class grade. Now what you should be seeing in this area is a list of all of your year levels and then another classification called staff or teacher or teaching staff, however you've described it in the system. If you're not seeing that list, that year 7, year 8, year 9, or if you're primary prep 1, 2, 3, it's probably because either A, your patrons, your users haven't been imported into the system yet, or B, they've been imported incorrectly. So you need to contact our customer service team members if you don't see that list. Okay, I'll talk to you through how to contact us in a moment as well, but we're going to assume that all of your year levels are listed in the system. What you need to do is next to the year level, there is an edit icon. So I'm going to go ahead and edit my year 3s. Okay, first field at the top here is our security field, and this is what we need to deal with TV4Education. Our recommendation here at FSI is to set the security to the same numerical value as the year level itself. So in this case, if I'm dealing with year 3s, I'm going to put a security of 3 and hit save. I'll close that down and I'll go to my year 4s and I'll do exactly the same thing. Okay, we've already got one in here for year 4s, so I'm happy with that. Go to my year 5s and it's already in there as well. Okay, so go through all of your year levels and make sure that the security is the numerical value of that year level. For preps, leave it at 0. And for staff, we want to set that to 50, something way out of the scale. Now, the reason why we're doing this is that when we come to the videos themselves, they are going to have a security value as well. If the security value of the video is 10 and a year 7 student tries to watch it, because the video security is higher than the user security, the system is not going to allow them to watch it. Okay, if that video, however, is a security of 5, because the user security is 7, they will be able to watch it because the user security is higher than that of the video. Okay, so think of it as when we're setting up the users, and I go into my year 7s, for example, this value here is the upper level, upper value, upper limit. So they can watch any video that has a security of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, for our staff, they can watch anything that has a security of any number between 0 and 50. Okay. So that's the first thing that we need to do. We need to look at the security of all of our year levels. The next thing that we need to do is we need to tell the system, hey, when someone's watching something from TV4Education and it comes into the library, what security do we want to assign to the different video classifications? So this is our Gs and our Ms and our PGs. Okay, so from that same drop down, we want to select video default security. Okay, so here's our list, and we've predefined some of these securities in the system, and you've got the ability to go in and change that and edit it. Okay, so in my system here, we've said that if anything comes in with a video classification of G, straight away, give it a security of 0. Everyone, including our preps, have the ability to watch that video. If it comes in with a value of PG, I want to give it a value of 7, which means that all of my preps 1s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6s can't watch that video. Sorry, can watch that video with inclusion of our year 7s. Sorry, getting myself confused here. Preps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6s can't watch that video, but 7s, 8s, 9s, 10, 11, 12, and staff can watch that video. Okay, so remember it's that upper value. Because PG is above that of our year 6s, they will not be able to watch it. M's, we're saying that year 12s and above can see that video. MA, we're saying that staff are the only ones that can see it. R is staff. And then we've got this one here that is classification needs to be determined. Okay, and we've said that that is going to be for staff only. Okay, usually that comes in for things like movie trailers. Okay, now if you want to change any of these securities at your school, you're okay with the year 11s watching M, change that to M, hit save, and it's all done for us. Okay, that's going to be the video classification for all of those videos that come in from TV4Education. Okay, so number 1, set up our class grade security. Then we come in and set our video default security. That's the first things that you need to do with TV4Education when you gain access. Once you've done that, we can then jump over and start having a look at our patrons. Now, I'm going to be talking to you today about how we manage the user profiles. And this is once-off cases. So we get a new user come in and we just want to add them on the fly. We're not going to be dealing with patron importing in this particular training session. Okay, so we do have the ability to do it, so you're not sitting there typing out all of your students' and teachers' names one at a time. You do need to just grab a CSV file and then throw it into the system, and the system will do the rest for you. But we're going to deal with that in a more advanced training session later on. For this particular one, as I said, we're dealing with just one user at a time, or we may even have a user that's left the school, and we want to remove their access so that we're not breaching terms and conditions with screen rights or TV4Education. We want to head to System Menu, Patron, and then Patron Management. Okay, now in patron management, all of the tools and functions that we need to have access to on this page are going to be found in the toolbar at the bottom of the page here. So if we need to find any particular user because we want to make some changes, click Find, type in a couple of letters. It's going to bring up all the users that match. Click on their name, and it's going to load their profile for us. If we need to make some changes, the email has changed. Their surname has changed because they've gotten married over the holidays. We can just basically put our cursor in that field, start typing, and then hit save at the bottom of the screen. Okay, if we're wanting to add a new user, we've got a student that's walked up, brand new to the school, needs access to TV4Education for the class. In the toolbar, we've got the new button. Okay, we click new, system goes blank, we can start typing our information in. Okay, for the barcode, just use their email address. Okay, now this is specifically for our TV4Education only users. If you are a Smart Suite library and TV4Education user, we would have already covered in the training that the barcode should match the EQID of that user. Chuck in their first name, surname, and then chuck in their email address again. Okay, reason behind that is barcode that's going to allow us to do some managing of duplicates when we do our patron imports. Okay, so the system will match by barcode so we don't keep duplicating the patrons over and over again. Email is what we use to send forgot my password emails and notifications to our users. Okay, don't worry about security, okay, because that's going to automatically be built once we select the year level. Go to our class grade and select the year level that we want this particular user to be a part of. For reporting purposes, select the homeroom that they're going to be in. Okay, and then this role here is really, or this field is really, really, really important. By default, system always grants users student role, which is the lowest role in our system. Okay, they have access to basically search and view content that's been approved by staff members at the school. Okay, but they don't have access to the TV4Education system. They don't have access to any watch reporting. They don't have access to build lessons, to the video editor, none of that. If it's a teacher that we're dealing with and we want them to have access to those teacher tools within the system, remove that role by clicking the cross next to the role. Click on the field again, which will bring up this drop-down list, and then select teacher. Okay, and as soon as we do that and we hit save, they're going to get access to all of that information straight away. So if you do have any teachers that are coming up to you and saying, oh, Miss, Sir, I don't have access to TV4Education, what's going on? Look up their profile and make sure that role is set to teacher. Okay, now before I hit save, you'll notice over here there is a tick box next to email login. Now what this is going to do, I haven't yet set up a password, so if I hit save, the system's going to generate one for me automatically. It's going to then email that user with the URL for my site, their email address, which is their username, and give them instructions on how to set up a password in the system. Okay, if you don't want that to happen for whatever reason, you can uncheck that and then hit save. In this case, I'm going to hit save. System gives me a pop-up message. It says here, password is not set. System is going to generate one for you. We click OK. It generates that password, puts that into an email, and flicks it off to the user. And that's how long it took. Okay, that user now has that email. They can go back to their computer, their phone, whatever, follow the instructions to log in for the first time. Okay, so adding users, really, really easy. Modifying their details, basically point and shoot. Okay, if you have any users come up to you and go, oh, sorry, it's been 2 weeks, I went on holidays, I've forgotten my password. Okay, you do have the ability to tell them, just go back, sign in and hit forgot my password and the system will do it for you. Or if they're at the desk, you can email their login information directly from this screen, or you can change their password on their behalf. Okay, so all those tools are part of the system. You just need to check it out in that toolbar at the bottom of the screen. Okay. If we have a user that has left our school and we don't want them to have access to TV4Education anymore, bear in mind that it is against the terms and conditions of Screen Rights and TV4Education if a user that is not employed or enrolled at your school is accessing your content. Okay, so just be mindful of that. If we want to remove those users, look them up, click delete. Are you sure you want to remove this user? Yes, I am. Okay, as soon as you delete their profile, they no longer have access to the system. Simple as that. Okay, so that's patron management. Once we've got our security set up, once we have the users in the system and they've got their login information, we can now jump into TV4Education. Now, keep this in the back of your mind, especially when you're talking your users through the system. In System Menu and Search, there's a couple of different search screens. Schools Collection is all the content that either you as the administrators have added from TV4Education and catalogued and add tags to make it easier for your students to find material, as well as the content that the staff have been using and sharing to their classes direct. Okay, so on a really proactive school that's been with us for 4 or 5 years, we're expecting this collection to be around 4,000 items. Okay, that is really a drop in the ocean when you're talking about a video collection within TV4Education that has over 180,000 video titles. So when you are doing any training with staff members, just highlight to them that fact, because if they're trying to find content on science or biology or metaphysics or anything like that, they're only going to be seeing a very small collection on this screen compared to the full TV4Education screen. So they do need to make sure that when they go to search, they are selecting TV4Education from the search screen. We have branded it a little bit, so it is a white background. There's a big TV4Education logo in the upper corner, and this all helps to just make this screen pop and help the teachers understand this is the screen that has the full 180,000 collection on it. Okay, now please also make sure that when your staff are coming to the system, they are jumping in and filling their interests. Now, when they access the system for the first time, it is going to pop up this menu for them automatically. Okay, if they close it down, top right-hand corner where it says interests, they can manage their interests themselves. Okay, now what's going to happen is when they register their interest with the system, it's going to personalize the experience for them based on the subjects that they teach or the information that they're interested in. Okay, every month we also email a program guide that is specific to all of those subject areas. So if they don't register their interest, they aren't going to be receiving those program guides, as well as the tailored experience that occurs within the system if they're not registering. Okay, so all they need to do is click on the options that interest them. System automatically saves as you're clicking, so there's no need to hit a save button or anything like that. You just close the screen down and it saves it for you. Okay, as far as how do I go about and search on TV4Education, these little icons at the top here, they are what control the library that we're currently looking at. So we can see that the green icon is currently highlighting home. This videos that are in the collection, all of the content from our LearningTube library. So this is the premium content that our learning advisors have said, these videos here, they directly relate and link to these curriculum outcomes. The documentaries that are available, movies, curated YouTube, etc. Okay, if we wanted to grab any of those videos, click on them, and it's going to start playing for us. Okay, we can have a look at the video, we can pause it, jump it ahead, do whatever we need to do. The right hand side of the video player is our toolbar for the video player. So if that information scrolled away too quickly and we didn't get to read the full information on this particular video, clicking on that eye is going to bring that back. Okay, if we want to save this to our personal items, so that's this area at the top here, my items, we use the star icon, and that's going to put a copy of that video into our personal items, kind of like our favorites, so that we can go back in and have a look at that later. Okay, if we're wanting to share it with anybody, there's our share icon. So as a teacher, I might want to share that with my students. As an admin, we might want to share that with our staff. Okay, click on the share icon and we get a couple of parameters. Okay, now this is really important for when we're doing the sharing. Share with, we want to make sure that we are selecting the correct year level. Okay, if it's an M-rated program and we select year 6, it's going to give access to the year 6s. Okay, so we need to make sure it's not the global library that's going to have access to it. It's just, this was the person that did it, but just make sure that you are always selecting the correct user group. Okay, you can set an expiry on the link as well. So if we're only doing this particular topic until the end of July, select the appropriate date, URL gets rebuilt and contains the security of year 6 and that expiration date. That URL there is going to be a hyperlink, so it's going to bring people back into the system where they can watch the video inside Smart Suite and TV4Education. This one here takes the video and embeds that into your learning management platform. Okay, if we do go ahead and execute a search, okay, watch the little green highlight there. If I hit enter, it changes from home and goes to our TV4Education library. And this is going to be where all of our free-to-air, Foxtel and partnership content resides within the TV4Education collection. Okay, we can scroll through and do exactly the same thing that we were doing before, clicking on the videos to watch them and to share them with other users. Okay, if we go to lessons, we then see all the lessons that our TV4Education curators have been creating on science. We can click on YouTube and have a look at all the content that relates to science from YouTube. Okay, we've also got a subject search. Okay, so if you click subjects, it brings up all of our subjects that the TV4Education curators are working with. When we execute that search, we've done that search on the YouTube library, so it's showing us all the aviation content that's available on YouTube. And again, I can work my way backwards, clicking on the various libraries, and that's going to re-execute that search for us. Okay. The biggest part about TV4Education and administering TV4Education is just getting the users on the system. Okay, so once we have set up the security, it's just a matter of getting those users set up, which is all done through patron management. Once they're on this screen, users tend to find that it's very familiar to them. Feels like YouTube, feels like Netflix, feels like Stan, feels like Disney. They just click and play. Okay, now if you do experience any issues, you've got questions that you're wanting to reach out to us about, anything like that, there's a couple of ways that you can reach out to the customer service team members. Okay, first way is through the concierge service. Now this is available for our new schools that are jumping on board with TV4Education. Okay, within those schools, the administrators are the only ones that can see this particular service. Okay, and it's this icon down in the bottom right-hand corner, that little speech bubble. When you click on that, it's going to open up a chat that comes directly to customer service technicians in the FSI customer service team. Okay, it's not an automated system. There's no AIs that are going to recommend random articles to help you out. It is individuals on the other end of this chat. Okay, so bear that in mind when you are talking to them. They are people. We need to explain ourselves. We don't need to do any searches like we would in a automated service. It is individuals. And you can ask them things like, how do I do a bulk import? I've got this error on the screen. I've got this device and it's currently not showing the video. All my other devices are. Okay, so the concierge service is going to help you out. They'll be able to respond, point you in the right direction. They may even elevate that to one of our customer service team members to give you a call back. Okay, the other way that you can communicate with us is by system menu, support, contact support. Okay, this is going to take you to the mailbox where you can have a look at all of the support tickets that you've had with us in the past. Okay, over on the left-hand side there, or you can open up a brand new ticket by clicking Create Ticket at the top of the screen here. Give your ticket a subject so we can trace that back later on, and then type your message in there. If you need to upload any examples or screenshots of errors, clicking on that upload icon will allow you to do so, and then you can flick that off to our team members. Okay, all the responses will get chucked back into that same chat feed. Okay, so we can go through and have a look at all of the conversations that we've had with the team members in the past. Just make sure that if we have satisfied your query, that you do go ahead and close the ticket. So where it says reopen at the moment, there'll be an icon there that says close. Okay, and that'll just make sure that that gets closed off with the customer service team members and we're not annoying you trying to follow up and make sure that it's been closed. Okay, in the same area, you have the TV4Ed requests. Okay, this is also accessed through the TV4Education toolbar. Okay, so if I go back to the TV4Education screen, in the toolbar, there is My Requests. Okay, that'll take you back to the mailbox and show you that TV4Ed Requests tab. Okay, and that's where you go to make all of your requests for content. So if you're specifically after support, how do I do this? I've got an issue, I've got an error. You use either the concierge or the support facility. If you're after, I want this video, this Foxtel content is coming up, can you help me with this particular lesson? You do that through TV4Ed requests. Okay, the reason behind that is they are two different departments within FSI. If you put in a request for a video via the customer service team members, once that technician picks up that ticket from your site, they're going to have to refer that over to the TV4Education team. So it is going to delay the request slightly. If you go straight to the TV4Ed requests team for all of your video requirements, it's going to make sure that we can get to it as soon as possible for you. Okay, you've also got under that support menu, search for help. Okay, so that's all of our articles that our customer service team members have been creating for you and your staff on all things TV4Education, My Lessons, and Smart Suite. You've got access to the training videos. Okay, so that'll take you to our YouTube channel where all of our videos on how to do things, as well as our live events like this morning's, are going to be listed. Okay, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe, you hit the bell and you will receive all the notifications of upcoming events, as well as events going live right now. Okay, we are going to be producing more and more content to help you use the system. So we want to make sure that everyone's getting access to those as well. If you are on Facebook, there is also an FSI user community. So this community is made up of Smart Suite Library and TV4Education users across Australia and abroad. It's basically a community group to talk about all things FSI as well as education. Okay, so if you've got questions on, hey guys, how are you managing security? How are you getting playlists to all of your users? Are you amping up watch stats at your school? You can throw those questions and discussion boards out, but you can also do things like, hey guys, I've got this author coming into my school next week. How have you guys promoted that to make sure that everyone comes in and pays attention. Okay, so that discussion group is made for all of the users to be able to say, hey, I'm using the same system. This is how I did it. Okay, and then finally, there is a quick start guide. Okay, so that's basically all the articles that have been handpicked by customer service team members. We've collated that into a printable version, so you can view it online, but you can also print it off. Okay, and that's all the articles that our customer service team members believe a user should use within the first 6 months of having the system. Okay, so all of that can be accessed from the support console. That's about as much as we wanted to go through in the session today. I haven't had any questions come through on the live chat. So I hope that everyone has received all the information they needed to be able to jump in and start administering TV4Education amongst their school communities. If you do have any questions, remember, nothing is a silly question. Reach out to us and help us help you. Okay, we want to make sure that everyone gets the full benefit of TV4Education at your school. Okay, so reach out to us, ask the questions, join all of the YouTube live events that are coming up in the future to make sure that you're getting the most. We also have a range of teacher-only training sessions that are coming up. So these are going to be designed specifically on how do I get the most as a teacher out of the system, how do I add my own worksheets, how do I edit videos, how do I monitor who's watching what, how do I lock people out. That's all coming up in the teacher training series. So make sure that all your teachers are also subscribed to that channel. There is a playlist where all of that content is going to be accessed from, but they'll receive those live notifications if they're subscribed and they've hit that bell. My name is Quinton. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next Smart Suite or TV4Education YouTube live training session. Have a great rest of the week and weekend, and we'll see you next week.